Welcome to Muscles and Malarkey, a podcast about all things strength, fitness, and fun. I'm your host, Mary. I can't believe that we've made it to the season finale of season 2. What a ride it's been. We've shared stories, busted myths, had some hot takes, and hopefully left you feeling a little stronger inside and out. We're wrapping things up with a very special guest today. My coach, the wonderful, the supreme, the legendary Jess Mamabear Rogers. Jess has had an incredible journey, from starting out raw to dominating in equipped lifting, and today we're diving deep into her story. We talk about what it really means to be a great coach, not just someone chasing clout on the gram. And we explore the real meaning behind why we do this sport. It's the perfect way to close out this season. Heartfelt, honest, and full of wisdom. Let's get into it. I really wanted to just talk to you about how long you guys have been doing local meets for, what that means to you. The door is open. The floor is yours.
We've been doing meets and running them ourselves since 2020, but
Wow.
we've been working as staff at meets since 2017, 2018 and on. I myself am not a meet director. I just play one on TV. Travis opened the Bear Cave in October of 2020, kind of late COVID, and then had our first meet in December of 2020. And that was No Luck. So No Luck is our inaugural meet.
There is a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes with meets, and people are like,
yeah, I want to throw a meet or run a meet. Nobody realizes how much goes into it. And a lot of people that want to do it don't own all the equipment to do it. When you are like, hey, I just have a combo rack and nothing else, that's not great. Hey, we need to borrow everyone's squat bars and power bars and deadlift bars. That's not great. I don't know how to run lifting cast. I don't even have a computer to run it off of. That's not great. No TVs, no lights, no nothing. How do you expect to do this? You don't. You expect someone else to do it for you, and you just want to put your name on it and have all the accolades. That's the issue, because people don't think that much goes into it. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong or there's anything wrong with having people help. It's just when you constantly depend on people to run a meet for you just so you can be the little main character. I have an issue with that.
which is understandable.
I have a big issue with that. And I know a lot of people their hearts are in the right place, to run a meet, but at the same time, they just have no idea what it takes to run a meet. Sometimes it can be a complete disaster until other people come in and save it.
Like you said, people have good intentions.
Yes.
But sometimes good intentions don't necessarily mean great outcomes.
No, absolutely not. We've seen that happen more than once, but people figure it out.
These meet directors are not just rolling in the cash.
It seldom goes in your pocket at all, if you even break even or slightly above profit line. You usually don't profit off of it or break even. You're usually in the hole. Travis and I have talked about this numerous times to numerous people, that at the end of the day, when you pay your staff, which doesn't just include your refs, it also includes your spotters and loaders, it includes your door people, your merch table people, your bathroom attendants, your warm-up room attendants. I'm not saying every meet has to have that to run smoothly, but it helps. After you pay all of them, after you come out of pocket for, if you're offering cash prizes or you purchase any sort of prizes, you buy medals, you buy drug tests. Drug tests aren't cheap. If it's a travel meet, you're coming out of pocket for that. We still don't break even when we run meets at our own gym.
That's wild.
So people that are in the business of meet directing to make money or a profit are in it for the wrong reasons. And that's also why we've had to cancel, because it is not worth it to put ourselves in a state of financial distress because 9 people signed up for a meet. It's just a lot of expense that goes into it to run a meet, and people don't realize that. And the thing that sucks too is that the lifters don't realize that either. Not that it's their problem, but
Mhm.
when they complain about, "Oh, you canceled this meet, that sucks. Poor me." No, actually, poor us if we would have gone on with the meet. Literally, poor us.
I saw your open powerlifting. You've been doing meets since 2016, which
Well,
is
all those doubles are like me competing in masters and or submasters and open. Did you count how many meets I've done? Is it like 13?
it's 15.
I don't know if that deadlift only one counts though.
I think
We'll
it
we'll
counts.
count it. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's only powerlifting. That's where everything's made up and the points don't matter. Oh, wait, that's
It's
metal militia. Never mind.
it's true.
Come at me. I'm feeling spicy today. All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of your powerlifting meets, do you enjoy reffing or working a meet more than competing in a meet?
Yes. Much rather work a meet than compete.
What
Yes.
has been your favorite meet thus far?
To compete in?
Yeah.
Good guys too. Hands down. My first and my only multiply full power.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That
Oh,
was my favorite meet. It will probably always be my favorite meet. I think about it often and it makes me want to compete multiply again. And I think when and if I do compete again in a full power meet, it'll be multiply.
dude.
I just this last meet, no.
Which
I did great considering it was my poor brain. Raw is just so scary to me. I know it's like, oh, well, nut up, like whatever. No, I'm sorry, I'm terrified. In squats, they reduced me to tears anymore. I get so scared.
oh god.
This last meet was not my favorite meet, but
Mhm.
I wasn't like, oh, I hate it. It just was one of those things where I'm good. Like I'm good for
I
right now.
I see a lot of people, not just like one specific person by any means, but I see a lot of people and they're like, "Okay, I'm gonna do 3 meets this year." Why would you do that? Why would you
Yeah.
do practically 3 meet preps back to back
Well,
to back?
I have to have talks with people that I coach to not do that. 2 a year is even pushing it,
Mhm.
especially when I know how that person's doing and how they respond to being in prep and how they recover and how their consistency is, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep competing every however many months," and I'm like, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not a good idea. Oh, I can tell you not to, that I think it's not a good idea. Ultimately, it's not up to me, and I put a disclaimer on it. I'm like, "Look, you're gonna have a bad time," and they sometimes do. Like, I don't know a thing or 2 about a thing or 2. I don't know everything. I'm not the best lifter, I'm not the strongest lifter, I'm not the best coach, I'm not the strongest coach, but I know something about something.
You
Like,
know a lot about a lot.
I'm yeah, I'm okay.
You are such
But
a
I know
humble
I know
being.
a lot more than some of these people that have not been in the sport as long. They can be stronger than me too. Like, I don't care. I coach a lot of folks that are stronger than me. I only want my people to be stronger and better than me. I
Mhm.
wanna coach them to be better than me. I also want them to be smart,
I mean,
and
part of
I
being a good coach is giving that feedback. You're hiring me for a service, you want my
right,
knowledge, I'm gonna give it to you. This is my
right. I
recommendation.
try. Sometimes it just doesn't register until after the fact, and then they're like, "You know what? You were right." It's just, coaching is so frustrating, and I'm gonna be real. I know a lot of coaches feel this way. It is so frustrating because you just I don't wanna see people do poorly. I'm not
Mhm.
setting people up to fail. I don't punish people. I don't treat people like favorites and not favorites, and I want everybody to succeed. I don't do this and then do shit to spite people or punish them
Mm-mm.
or to lecture them, or so when I'm treated like, "Oh, well, you just complaining," and I'm like, "Then why do you have me?
Right.
Why did you ask my opinion? Why did you hire me?" The pushback is crazy. I think people hire me sometimes just to have someone to fight with.
Oh my god. Look, I'm not a coach, I'm a therapist. I feel like there's some parallels with that. There's plenty of times today I can think of 3 patients off the top of my head where I'm like, "Hey, I really think that you should go and do some rehab because you can't even walk 30 feet without getting really short of breath and you need one person to help." And then they look and they're like, Yeah, well, what the fuck do you know? You're an
Oh,
idiot.
I
Yeah,
feel like that a lot of times. I'm like, "Hey, how about you fix this, this, and this, or try to apply this cue next time?" "No, I don't like it." Okay, nice talk." I get the parallels for sure, and I've seen it in a PT's office or a therapist's office where they're like, "Hey, do this, this," and they're like, "No." And I'm over here like, "I will do anything you tell me to."
oh, you're one of my favorite kinds of patients. Oh my God. That is like music to my ears.
Yeah. Why are you there? Like that's how I feel about coaching. Why are you here if you're going to push back we're allowed to disagree. You're allowed to
Absolutely.
question why I am doing what I'm doing. We're allowed to collaborate. We can edit programming. We can, go back and revisit things if things don't feel great or don't work. But if you're immediately just going to say no, I don't like that or I don't want to do this or this and that, then why am I here?
It's so funny to me hearing that. People tend to forget that coaches are humans and you have a life outside of your job, just like I have a life outside of my job. I think it's harder in like your respect because you do have like WhatsApp or whatever and people have immediate access to you. I think your utilization of office hours is a great thing. You got to clock out at some point.
I do, and yet I still can't completely. Like, I can't 100%. But yeah, I'm like, I want people to know, like, that haven't met me in person. Even some of the ones that have met me in person, I'm not Chat GPT. I am not AI.
Mm-mm.
I'm a fucking person.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes it sucks, like, the way people just either dump on you or they just treat you, and it's like, I wanna help you, I wanna see you succeed,
Yeah.
so I would like to be treated the way I'm treating you. I mean, I treat all my people the same, whether I program Bulgarian split squats or not.
You don't like know anything about equipped lifting,
I
right?
don't. I mean, I
No.
don't. I'm very green. I'm very, very green in the land of equipped, and I will admit to that. And I will not coach somebody in multiply. And I have had two people in single ply that have done very, very well. And they knew that I was not super well versed in coaching single ply or equipped at all. And they agreed to let me just like try some things out and end up being very successful. But I typically coach raw lifters, and
Mhm.
I am not ashamed to admit that.
What was the draw for you to get into equipped lifting? Because I think majority of your meets are raw up until you did
My
the
deadlift only was single ply.
okay. Oh, is that the Dewey dead weight
Yeah,
one? Yeah, okay. So that
yeah,
was single ply,
deadlift only was single ply. That was the only single I ever did, and then I did multiply full power the following year, I believe.
which I'm gonna brag on you for a second. I don't care. I know you're gonna be like, please don't. I don't care. I'm gonna brag on you for a second.
Oh, don't.
I have your open powerlifting up here, and I didn't get the chance to see this meet, unfortunately, but I got to see it after the fact. You had a 402.3 pound squat,
Yeah.
a 198.4 pound bench.
Yeah, and I'm so mad I didn't go for more.
Do
Bench
you
is my Achilles heel, by the way, so that shirt did every bit of that bench. I did not. The shirt did the bench that day, and then
you,
402.3 deadlift.
you knew?
I never have hit 1K raw. I don't know if I probably never will, and I'm fine with that. And it's not anything that's, like, crazy, but it was, like, a goal of mine, to hit 1K in whatever capacity.
Mhm.
And I think it was really cool that even though most people be like, "Oh, 1K plus and multi is fucking easy," for me, it was still super cool because I squat and deadlifted and benched exactly what I needed to get 1,000, 1,003 if we
Yeah.
wanna nitpick. But it was really cool because that was like a goal. I was like 1K with a 400 squat and a 400 deadlift, and I fucking did it. It was neat.
That's wild.
And I was wait, what? Had I turned 43 yet?
You were 42 in that meet.
Okay, yeah, so that's cool, and doing that in your 40s, like, that's neat.
Not a lot of people in their 40s even lift.
Right. That's another thing I try to explain to people just in general, no matter what your age is. When people are like, "Oh, I'm only benching this, I'm only deadlifting this, I'm only squatting this." We're already doing way more than the average human.
Mhm.
Because yes, people go to the gym, but people don't do what we're doing, and people don't lift what we're lifting, and people don't squat, bench, and deadlift typically. Like, it's not a typical thing.
Not to
So
the extent we do it.
no, and it's like when people are like, "Oh, I'm only benching X amount of pounds," like, you're already doing way more than the average person. So you
Yeah.
need to pat yourself on the back for that.
Thank you for
Yeah,
saying that
yes.
because I feel very strongly about that because people do, like, it's the comparison game.
If you can bench the bar, I'm stoked. Getting a barbell in your hand and doing that shit is cool. Like,
It
that's just cool.
it
And you're
is.
benching 45 more pounds than most people.
With equipped lifting, what was Travis the one that got you into equipped?
Yes and no. Back when we first started competing, it was like our first year competing. Of course, we competed raw. Travis always said, like, "I wanna do this with you for as long as we can do this, until we have to hold our bodies together with multiply suits." So that was, like, the joke, but we didn't ever think that that was gonna come sooner than expected. Our friend Amber Hansen, she brought a pair of briefs one time to the gym when she visited the cave, and got me into these briefs. They were too big, but I got in them anyway, and I did this crazy, like, plie squat with, like, 185 on my back, and I had no business in doing it, but she was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." She's like, one of us," like, was super, like, stoked and was like, "I'm here to preach the good word of plie," and we're like always thought that was funny, and she's a phenomenal lifter, both raw and equipped. She's just a phenomenal athlete. So it was like one of those things that just kept coming back into our lives, and we have friends that lifted equipped, and it's just one of those things. So yes and no, Travis got me into it. It was like one of those things where we just were like, let's just take the leap. He took the leap before I did, and then had his accident with his quads, and I didn't lift consistently when I had to help take care of him, and then when I got back into it, I ironically wore started wearing the briefs that he had his accident in, which we were like, "Oh, the cursed, like, party pants." It happened organically, really. It wasn't like somebody just was like, "You need to do this." Well, Amber was always like, "You guys need to do this," because she's just super stoked on it in general. And then it also happened because we both have pre-existing conditions and injuries that feel gross, and a lot of times recovering from raw lifting feels extra gross. But it's one of those things where it truly for us helps us continue to lift and lift heavy. I don't want to say safely because I don't want to put that out there that lifting equipped is so much safer than raw, because it's all dangerous. It's all super
Mhm.
dangerous. But it helps us overload and deal with pre-existing conditions and injuries a little bit better.
Mhm.
So I was dealing and still deal with some lower back shenanigans, some hip stuff.
Relatable.
Yeah, some hip stuff. So me getting into briefs and squatting and deadlifting in briefs for a while was really beneficial for me. Yeah.
I'm glad that you were able to find that because 'cause I'm right there with you guys, like, listen, I'm playing the long game. I know I'm not gonna set any records in the open, but bitches, when I get to that 70 plus category, it's over for you hoes.
Be deadlifting the bar and setting world records.
Fuck yeah, man.
I think that's so cool though. I think it's so cool to see people still lifting, even if they're just doing push pull or single lift meets, still lifting well into their 70s, 80s. I think that's so cool, and just goes to show that, like, it is beneficial to the body for bone density, just
Mhm.
for the brain. I think it's even cooler when it's like weight training and resistance training and stuff like that, because there's so many benefits to it.
I can confidently tell you I've never seen someone in the hospital because they were too strong. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing people who are very weak, who, like, have a concave ass because they don't have any glute muscles, and
Yeah.
I was watching a video and they were talking about how the muscle mass of your legs has a positive relationship with the quality of life as you age. And it
Okay.
makes a lot of sense.
It's interesting to read studies like that and articles like that. It's another reason to keep doing what we're doing as long as we can do it in a safe manner, whatever way that's going to look,
Yeah.
down the road.
And you're a freaking badass out here in your danger suit. I would love to try equipped at some point. I know though, you're not just like, hey, this is how I lift raw and I'm going to put on a squat suit or a
Oh,
deadlift suit.
no.
It's totally different,
No,
right?
no, no. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely not. I will say when I'm in briefs or I'm in a multiply suit, my squat is high bar, extremely high bar,
Mhm.
and a lot wider, a lot of external rotation. One of the reasons I switched back to raw for a little bit, and I believe that training raw in addition to being to training equipped is very important, is because they both differ so greatly, but the carryover for each other is great as well.
Mhm.
But I am a narrower squatter and low bar squatter, raw.
Mhm.
So it's very, very different. So like you don't want to get stuck in the same position. Also, I'm a conventional puller now, raw, but I am a sumo deadlifter in multiply.
Get you a girl who can do both.
I haven't been in extreme external rotation since last fall when I competed. So I'm not really sure how that is going to be when I decide to get back into multiply to train. Now, I would probably try to deadlift conventional and single. Carl deadlifts conventional single ply. I
Shout
do.
out to Carl.
Shout out, Carl. I feel like I would be able to do it conventional and single, but I just feel like there's so much material and stuff going on with the briefs with the suit on top
Mhm.
that it would probably still be beneficial for me to reduce my range of motion and pull sumo.
Well, I think you just highlighted on something that is so important about this sport is that you have the ability to constantly change how you do things. And
Mhm.
also, there's other avenues to explore. Like, you don't have to stay in one small box. If you want to
Right.
try different methodologies, or if you want to try doing equipped versus raw or single ply, multiply, like, there's so much room for activities in
Oh yeah.
powerlifting.
Oh yeah, for sure. And even if you're just a raw lifter, there's so many ways to change up your training. So many people are like, no, I can't do it that way, or I don't want to try it that way, like high bar versus low bar,
Mhm.
wider stance versus narrower stance, heels, no heels, different bars, SSB bars, Mars bar, camber bar, whatever bar you want to fucking use, Buffalo. There's so many ways to change up your training, even just as a raw athlete, that you don't, conventional and sumo. Like it doesn't fucking matter. But so many people are just so stuck in their ways that they're just doing the same competition compound lifts over and over again. I don't like to be stagnant. That's why I like to get into a shirt. I like to get into a suit. I like to get into briefs, and I like to change up my training stimulus. And I like to also change that up when I'm just raw too. And I have been. So I just think being a well versed lifter that's open to other avenues and other ways of lifting, it's not going to affect you in a negative way at all.
Mhm.
You do it over and over and over again and you progress it. People are like, "Well, I don't wanna do this anymore." Well, you probably still suck at it and you probably need to do it for 4 more weeks.
Mhm.
Now, me taking stuff out from time to time just to kinda give your the body a break, and you were going through it as far as, like, a lot of, like, issues with things hurting and
Mhm.
feeling icky. Then when you say, "Hey, can we add this back in?" Then I know that you're feeling good enough to do it. So
Yeah.
we do it. And it's so easy to just be like, "Can we add this back in?" But don't, for the love of God, be like, "Can we try adding chain to my squats?" when you can't even do 2 days a week consistent and you're still fucking up your compound lifts, like competition lifts. Like, why am I gonna add accommodating resistance, like bands and chains to something when you are still struggling with form?
I
Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but when
No,
somebody
that's
messages me at 3 in the morning and is like, "I really wanna do bands and chains," I'm like, "You really need to learn how to squat still."
okay, Rihanna, we get that chains and whips excite you, but you need to like and I'm gonna say this, like, I don't mean this in a gatekeepy way, but like you have to earn that. And by earning it, meaning you have to put the time, effort, and consistency and show that you are physically ready for that next step. You don't just get to say, I want to do it and I wish I could. You have to work up to that.
Right, and I'm not saying, like, you can't like, accommodating resistance isn't for everyone, because on some level it is, but as a coach, I need to see how you move and how you execute the lift to a competition standard first, so I can break down what is not working for you, what needs to be fixed, what sort of plateaus or what sort of weaknesses we need to, like, get through, and then I can be like, "Okay, this is where bands will help you get through this part, or this
Mhm.
is where chains will help you get through this part." But if you're still messing up the actual lift and are not receptive to my cues and feedback, then I can't add accommodating resistance because you will probably end up getting hurt.
Mhm.
Also, some of these folks, I don't even know if they can fathom how to set up bands and chains correctly. And some people do not have the setup, say band pegs or the correct type of chain and all that
Mhm.
stuff, because that takes time to set that stuff up. I think
Mhm.
they just think that they can just put it on willy-nilly and go, and that's not the case.
It's like I think people look on the gram and they're like, "Oh, that person's lifting with chains. Oh, that person has bands. Oh, that's so cool."
Right. It's let me tell you, it is not cool.
It's not.
I
But
hate it. I don't hate it. I enjoy it, but it is so challenging. So when people ask me for it, I'm like, "Okay, I would rather not lift with accommodating resistance." I don't it's not my favorite, but again, um it's very, very prominent in multiply and conjugate. That's the other thing too.
mhm.
When people are like, "I wanna lift conjugate, like, do, like, conjugate style training." Just because something has accommodating resistance doesn't make it conjugate. Also, raw lifters can train in a conjugate fashion. Right now, I have you on daily undulating periodization for your deadlift, and that is adopting a conjugate mindset in the aspect of max effort day and a dynamic effort day,
Mhm.
but it's there's no accommodating resistance, but the rest of your programming is linear. Again, I'm nerding out, but
I love it. This is
people
my
don't
favorite.
under see, that's the thing, people don't understand, but then they're like, "I wanna do conjugate. I want chains and bands." I'm like, "Chains and bands do not conjugate make."
No.
That's another thing too, you have to know how to do it. If you have no prior experience with accommodating resistance, I'm not gonna program it. Because I'm not gonna explain to you and put you on a call and be like, "Well, you need to do this, and the feeder chain needs to be this long, and then you have to have this many links touching the floor when you're No, it's gonna be lost on so many people, and
Mhm.
it's just I don't get paid enough. Imma be real with you, I don't get paid enough. I am not pumping out a bunch of content. I am not doing a bunch of instructional videos. I am not even really promoting myself that much, so I am probably to blame, but that's just not who I am. Like
Mhm.
I am not that like social media presence. I don't, and more power to the people that feel comfortable doing that. But I just have not gotten to a point where I feel comfortable doing that. I don't know, man. I might be self-sabotaging in that aspect, but I don't know. And since I am the age that I am, since I do like to lift equipped, and since I'm not super duper like the strongest or the top whatever, it is very difficult for me to get more clients when
Mhm.
somebody that's literally been lifting and is a phenom and they've only been doing it like a year or two and they're
Mhm.
like in their late teens, early 20s are coaching hundreds of people and
Mhm.
making bank and their social media presence is crazy. Do I wish that I could be on that level as far as, like, success as a coach? Sure, but at the same time, would my quality of programming and my quality of feedback be the same?
Right.
Probably not. I wouldn't be able to keep up with it. So, I would much rather have people seek me out because they know the type of people that Travis and I are, the sort of integrity that we have, and how we treat our team and our friends and our lifting partners. I'd rather someone seek me out for those reasons than because of my social media presence.
I think that is such a fantastic point, truly, because it is so focused on socials
Nowadays, yeah,
nowadays.
absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely. it never used to be like this, and I don't wanna sound like an old fogey, but, like, when we first got into the sport, we first started competing in 2016. Back then, social media wasn't as big of a thing. It was a thing, and I don't wanna take away from these young kids that are so freaking
Mhm.
strong. They're anomalies for sure. I respect that they're strong, but I don't
Mhm.
respect the attitude, and I don't respect the reliance on social media and, like, everything hinges on clout and, like, likes and clicks and,
Mhm.
it's bullshit to me because when we started, it wasn't like that. We followed maybe, like, 3 powerlifters, and I think it was Marisa Inda, fucking Chad Wesley Smith, and, like, Meg Squats. But, like,
Yeah.
those were the only people at that point, so it wasn't, like, oversaturated and weird.
And now everybody, like, I did a national meet and I've competed twice and DM me for coaching. Just because you know how to coach yourself, or you've done 1 or 2 meets, or you're just strong, or the only people you've worked with are other 20-something-year-olds, like, you can't relate to a 31-year-old with, 7 years of experience and fucking back issues. Like, what are you going to tell me?
Exactly. That's why I didn't start actually coaching folks until a couple years ago because I came from a background of being a trainer in commercial gyms for 8 years. So there was something way before that. A lot of people don't know that. And while I wasn't really coaching or training people powerlifting specific up until maybe like 2017, it's still that knowledge and everything carries over. Just from me also being involved in powerlifting and then me implementing accessory work, bodybuilding stuff, and powerlifting compound movements and whatnot into my personal training clients' repertoire, that in turn let me be more comfortable becoming a coach for powerlifting specifics. But these kids that are just like, "Yeah, let me coach you," and then because they're strong and because they have a huge social media presence, they end up making bank, and then a lot of us folks that are decent at what we do and have a lot of time and knowledge in the sport, not just competing, but also, running meets, reffing, judging, what have you, we get left in the lurch
Mhm.
because we're not the new shiny whatever. Such is life.
You're a bitch who adapts and overcomes. You're a strong woman, and
Eee.
you're
Thank
really cool, and I like you a lot.
thanks.
There's something that I like to ask people. Is there a time or something that you can think back to? Like, it doesn't even have to be like when you first started lifting or whatever, just something in the context of your lifting journey. Is there anything that you look back and you're like, what the hell was I even thinking with that? The look on your
Oh,
face.
oh boy. I'm trying to think of a what was I thinking? There's gotta be a good one in there. And I'm like, I didn't even wear like lifting gloves or anything like that. I don't think. Is there another question?
Yeah. What is one of your favorite lifting moments? It doesn't have to be like you lifting a weight at a meet or at the gym or something. Do you have a moment that like you look back and you're like, "Oh my god, I absolutely," like it makes you happy to think back on it?
Oh, dude, good guys too, for sure. I go back to that day over and over again and replay it in my brain. It was like such a pivotal moment. On my deathbed, I will be like, good guys too. Like, I will just be thinking about that moment. When I got my 402 squat, Travis was operating the mono and he said he was
Oh.
like trying not to cry. Oh, and he also broke a clipboard when I deadlifted 402. I mean, it wasn't super sticky, but it was like, it was
You
heavy.
you fought for it.
Yeah, and he was in the back because we were doing the third deadlift attempt song, so him and I forget, maybe just him at the time, was back in the other room, like, controlling the music, and he had a clipboard with everyone's, like, songs on it, and I guess when I was lifting 402, he was, like, banging the clipboard against the wall. I didn't see this happen, but he broke the clipboard. That was such a great meet, and I had
I
all the guys helping me, and it was fantastic. That's still one of my most favorite moments. There's so many great moments that have happened recently.
Mhm.
Like, I don't like to you know what? I wanna say I don't even wanna think about, like, the "what was I thinking?" because it's so fun to think about the great stuff that I mean, I've done plenty of dumb shit.
We all have.
Yeah. Those moments in the last The last 2.5 years have been so great.
It's just powerlifting. We're just out here lifting weights and we're trying to make ourselves better and we're trying to have fun. It should be
When it all
fun.
comes down to it, it's something we enjoy doing and something we should enjoy doing. It's not something we have to do, something we get to do. It's something we have the
Absolutely.
privilege of doing.
You're very refreshing in that aspect.
I just like the fact that I've been able to talk about coaching and being a coach and doing things in the sport other than just like, yeah, we've talked about some of the stuff I've done on the platform, but I really truly am proud of the things I accomplish behind the scenes and off the platform.
That's pretty badass. Do you want the people to know where to find you on the Instagrams?
Sure. If they don't follow me already, you can follow me on Instagram at mama.bear.rogers. I don't do the TikToks and I don't do the Facebooks. I
This
just
season.
haven't.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy toilet humor and existential crisis memes and things about dogs and pickles, I'm your girl.
And if anybody is in the Maryland area, where can they find your gym?
They can find us in Salisbury, Maryland. We're called the Bear Cave, and I forget what our Instagram is. It's at the Bear Cave MD. Is there an
It's
underscore in there?
there is.
Oh,
It's
fuck.
bearcave_MD.
Thank you. So we're in Salisbury, Maryland, 35 minutes outside of Ocean City, Maryland. Your destination for fun.
It is a fun time. I keep coming back.
So if
What?
like people come to the beach for vacation, we're like a half an hour, 35 minutes, depending on traffic. We're west of the beach. Like, come and drop in.
It's a great time.
Mhm.
And you guys have so much equipment. You have
We
so
do.
many different things.
We do. God, we have so much stuff now. It's crazy to think about where we started and how little we had and now.
Thank you
Thank
again
you.
so much for coming on here. It's always a joy and a delight to talk to you. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow, share, rate, and review. It helps the podcast grow and reach more people. Do you have any questions or suggestions? Email me at musclesandmalarkey@gmail.com or find me on Instagram at musclesandmalarkey. Yeehaw and yee claw, everybody.